Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and today I'm going to be doing the You Are What You Media tag. This tag was created by booksoverlooks, and I was tagged by the awesome Morgan over at Little Word Weaver. You should check out both of their channels. I will link to their videos down below. Morgan is awesome. She is one of my favorite YouTubers. We're actually going to be doing a Once Upon a Time live show on Friday, which I talked about in my announcement video. So enough of that. You are what you media. So the idea behind this tag, it's kind of like the you are what you eat saying, but instead you are what you watch, read, listen to, that kind of thing. So you're supposed to go through the areas of media, like movies, television shows, books, music, etc., and talk about 3 influential books, films, etc. Now, instead of just influential items in these various categories, I'm going to be talking about books or television or movies that I have spent a lot of time on recently or that have left a big impact on me, like recently in the past 5 years or so. So for books, I have 3 YA books. I have been reading a lot of YA over the past few years or so. I do just like YA, but also I have been writing YA, so I wanted to read a lot of it. So the first book is going to be Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This book really had an impact on me, not only because it talks about fangirls and being obsessed with books, but also I really enjoy this book because it's kind of about a person who is finding her own voice as a writer, and she does that through fan fiction. And I kind of feel like everybody gets their start with writing, maybe not specifically through fan fiction, but as young writers, we all kind of imitate things that we are obsessed with or just write about things we're obsessed with. I know when I was in high school and I was reading a lot of Anne Rice, I wrote a couple of really god-awful vampire stories. The next book on my list is This Song Will Save Your Life by Layla Sales. This book really had an impact on me because it was about a girl who kind of finds herself through music, and I feel like one of the things that makes YA so applicable to everybody and so enjoyable to adults as well is these stories about finding yourself and coming of age, which I feel like is kind of a universal thing. I mean, you don't really ever stop finding yourself. And the last book I'm going to talk about is Cress by Marissa Meyer. Now, really, this is the Lunar Chronicles just in general, but this one is my favorite in the series. But when I read this series, I got so engrossed and so obsessed, and I just binge read them all back to back. And I don't remember doing that with the series since the Hunger Games, I think. So yeah, I just really enjoyed this series, and I really enjoyed the world that she created and her take on these fairy tales. Okay, so the next category is music. So the first song I'm going to say is Wait by M83. Some of you will probably know this song as the song that plays at the end of The Fault in Our Stars. I am a little bit obsessed with M83, and this song in particular really reminds me of Vincent and Sylvia, which are my characters in my young adult urban fantasy novel series. Actually, M83 in general really reminds me of the novel series, but this song in particular. And it's every time I hear it, I just get sent into another world. And this album came out in 2011, I believe, and I still listen to it all the time. The next song I'm going to say is Guiding Light by Muse. Now, this was on an album that came out in 2009, so it's been around for a while, but it is still very much in my mind a lot. Muse also is a band that really reminds me of my novel series. My novel is all about muses, you know, taking the idea of the muses from Greek mythology and kind of putting them in a modern context. So, you know, the band Muse obviously plays a lot with that theme of inspiration, and this song, Guiding Light, really reminds me of a lot of the things that I am writing about in this novel series. That idea of finding inspiration and letting it guide you to some deeper kind of knowledge about yourself, if that makes sense. And the third song is going to be a song called The Ones Who Love You by a band named Always. I actually got to see them live here in Atlanta last summer, and they were amazing. I absolutely love this song. I love the way that she sings it. I feel like there is so much passion in her voice, and I interpret the song as kind of saying, you know, instead of worrying about the people who don't appreciate you or who don't, you know, love you in the way that you deserve, you should appreciate and be grateful for the people that you do have in your life and the people that won't be there for you no matter what. So the next category is television. So the first show I'm going to say is Game of Thrones. Now, I actually made a video about how disappointed I was in the last season of Game of Thrones. But I will say that I have pretty much been obsessed with this show since it came on. And even though I wasn't very happy with the last season and the direction that it was going in, I was still obsessed with it. And then I kind of became obsessed with why I didn't like it. It's a whole world that is very interesting to me, and there are a lot of characters that I really care about what is going to happen to them. The second show I'm going to say is Parks and Recreation. This has been like the new Friends for me over the past 5 years or so. I just think it's hilarious. It's not a kind of humor that everyone gets, but I think if you really do get it, it's hysterical. And the third show I'm going to say is probably no surprise, but that's going to be Once Upon a Time. I have some issues with Once Upon a Time with like the writing overall, and there are some plot holes and questions that I have, but overall I really enjoy the characters in that show, and I enjoy the way that they weave kind of these fairy tales with the modern world. I'm a little obsessed with Rumbell, as they call it. See, look, here's my little Rumbell picture. I just had this up for the announcement video, along with my little chip. If you like Once Upon a Time, check out my announcement video. Check out the live show we're going to do on Friday. It's going to be fun. So, for movies, I'm also going to talk about recent movies that have really had an impact on me. And the first one is going to be Inside Out. I saw this movie at the beginning of the summer and I absolutely loved it. It made me cry several times. I liked how there wasn't like the typical Disney plot structure with a villain and it just felt very universal to me. It felt like something everyone could relate to. I thought it had a really good message. So the next movie for me is going to be Boyhood. This is the film that they worked on for over 12 years. So they all got together every summer to film a section of the movie. So you're literally seeing these people age over a period of 12 years. It wasn't a typical movie in that it didn't feel like it had the typical kind of plot structure either. It felt more like a series of moments, really, and I thought it really captured what was going on in that particular time. Like, the use of music in it was really good, and it really got the whole theme of being in the present moment and, you know, embracing what is, and, you know, it's always now. And I really loved that. I thought it was beautiful. The next movie I'm going to say is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Now, this movie is based on my favorite book of all time by Stephen Chbosky. But I thought the movie was a perfect adaptation. It was very touching to me. I thought all of the actors were absolutely perfect. The way it was directed was, I just thought it was amazing. But yeah, that film just really stuck with me. Alright, so that was the You Are What You Media tag. I don't know who has done this tag and who hasn't. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos about writing, books, or music. And thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Of my heart, I will feel so glad to go.